So you know Funcom, right? Conan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dune.
Dune? Dune, huh?
Dune.
Yeah, Dune.
Yeah. Like it's actually worth it.
Have you played Conan Age of Exiles?
You know, it didn't pique my interest.
I mean, it's great for making D&D games and shit like that. I'll give that much. It's good for role playing, but I'm not a big fan of the survival sort of genre of video games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can get that. It can be a pain.
That's why I'm not a big fan of Minecraft. And once again, it's my same issue. The only reason I like Conan more than I like Minecraft is because the only reason I like Conan more than Minecraft is because it's more my style of gaming, and you can do some. It's heavy metal. It's D&D. I love it. I get why people hate it, but they put a lot of effort in that game, and I think it did because I enjoyed what the effort they put into it. Okay, what the people did with that game. But no, I mean, my favorite
Yeah.
game right now I'm playing right now is probably Baldur's Gate 3. There's a new ESO expansion pack coming out, like I said. It's going to be a live play Daedric invasion of Tamriel this October. Like Daedra War across the continent, live action event. You know?
Yeah.
And I can get down
Okay.
with that. I can get down with that.
All right. Yeah, I can do the same. Forget.
I've always wanted
Am I
ESO to
going
do.
to probably be there when it launches? No.
Yeah,
But
it's free to
no,
play.
I
Yeah, yeah.
I get this. I understand the draw.
And once again, it's Moloch Ball, my favorite Daedra god. Moloch Ball is my patron deity, okay? Deal with it. Praise
Yeah.
Moloch Ball. Praise Moloch
Am I
Ball.
complaining about it? Please.
No, but a lot of people on the internet give me shit for it.
Ah.
I'm kind of known by that on my Discord servers. Hey, Graham, why do you worship Moloch Ball so much? It's kind of a red flag, man. Look, I like him because he's like my favorite Dater god in ESO, and he had a really cool story arc. And the guy just, I like his aesthetic. Give me Goat Demon Dragon Daddy, okay? Fuck yeah. That's
I
it.
will give Molag Bal the homage that is due.
Yeah, and
He does, even in Skyrim, like he had an interesting and enjoyable quest. Wow.
yeah. Have you played the older Elder Scrolls games like Daggerfall, Morrowind?
Um, I have played Oblivion. Another one that I really didn't get too far
You
in.
gotta know how boundary pushing those games were back in the 90s, right? Morrowind, Daggerfall, like groundbreaking technology. And Elder Scrolls literally started off as a D&D game that the main creators were playing and they turned it into an actual video game. And that is one
Huh.
of the coolest things ever. Elder Scrolls is descended from D&D, literally. And I love that.
All right. All right. Yeah. That. Okay.
Yeah, and something I really like about Elder Scrolls is like the lore and how like there's all these different religions and factions with different takes on the world, its history and existence. It's real life, dude. It's real fucking life. I mean, all the different
Yeah.
pantheons. I mean, no one's arguing that Data are evil fucks for the most part. No one's arguing that. I mean, I worship Data because they'd be awesome to worship in real life. Hail Mega Satan. But no, I mean the Data. There's so much lore and like there's a multiverse Elder Scrolls. Like there's all these realities and multiverse realities, Kalpas. And then you get into what if you really pay attention to what Skyrim is, you're familiar with what Alduin is, right?
Yes. I know very much about Alduin, and I also know that, yeah, he wasn't actually sealed. Big surprise.
Yeah, he's Akatosh's son, and he's the bringer of the apocalypse. And apparently there's like this cosmic cycle of creation and rebirth.
Yes, although if you actually dig into the lore, they technically didn't seal him.
Yeah, they didn't. No, he survived. He survived the whole thing.
They messed up and they sent him into the future.
Yeah, no, I mean, the
And
question
with
is,
dragons, if one survives, they all survive. Sorry.
yeah, no. How do you feel about the dragons as a race? Are they assholes, or does it make sense? How do you feel about their lore?
Um,
You're Nordic, so I'm just asking here.
their lore is interesting, but it's one of those things where it makes sense for them being called Nords in the game and in the Elder Scrolls world,
Yeah,
but they actually don't share a whole lot with actual like Nordic
Scandinavian
history,
heritage. Yeah,
other than like maybe the shields, weapons, clothing style,
I mean,
hairstyle.
they're
But religion wise, no.
so religiously, the Nords in Skyrim are very different than the actual Nords in real life.
Yeah.
I just always thought Alduin was sort of a world serpent sort of character. And by the way, I know you hate
No, he was
PlayStation.
just a little aggravated baby that needed to get smacked, basically.
Yeah, Alduin's like,
And Parthenax decided to just pawn it off on the demons.
yeah. The dragons are a cool race. They're kind of like harbingers of the doom, and I really like that story arc in Skyrim. The sense of the apocalypse is going to happen. Dragons are going to consume the world. I just thought that was really fucking cool. Who's your favorite race to play as, by the way?
Um, Depends on if I'm actually putting effort in or if I'm going to be lazy. If I'm lazy, then Khajiit or one of the elf races, because for whatever reason, I always end up with a stealth archer at the end of everything.
Right.
If I'm talking just fun to mess around,
Yeah. I'm a Gargonian.
Nords are fun. Argonians are also fun.
I know you hate elves. I know you hate elves.
The only reason I actually have any elf characters is because of the mutants and archers.
That makes sense. You know, wood elves eat the remains of everyone they kill, like down to the bones.
Yes. Yep.
See, once again, Elder Scrolls does a really good job of creating religions and cultures and civilizations. It's really good writing. But you know that wood elves are actually pretty much pacifist because of that commandment from the forest. You shall not tear down the trees, so you must kill and eat everything you kill, down to the bones. It's fucked, and that's why
Yes.
they're such fucking hippies. Why they're so averse to killing people. My favorite.
They think they're cool and they're all that, and then they just keep getting schooled by everybody else.
Would you ever consume moon sugar? I would. I would totally take moon sugar. I would.
Moon sugar? You mean the basis moon sugar for skooma?
Yeah. Skooma, all the way.
Yeah.
Would you indulge in that crap, dude? Would you have skooma if you could?
Yes, I would actually.
What kind
At least once. I think it'd be entertaining.
Yeah. Is that more like weed or more like alcohol?
So, if I had to say it, it's not like alcohol. Obviously, it's separate from alcohol, even in the game.
Yeah.
So there's basis for that. With that being said, it's also not weed. What it technically is something akin to cocaine or speed.
Okay, they're cocaine cats. That makes sense. They're cats hyped on cocaine, like actual furries. Okay.
Yes, except it's basically catnip for them on steroids in comparison.
Why does it surprise me? Furries and their addiction to crack and cocaine. Why does that not surprise me? You know, in my D&D world, I created my own a cartoonish version of the Khajiit, but they were just wolf people. They were the flesh merchants and the drug dealers of the Empire. And every time they talked, they would just go, "Ooh, woo, Commander, how's it going there?" And I tormented my players for like 2 years with the furry scenes. I even had a friend of mine who I was playing with say, "Are you a bottom, Grant?" Because I described a furry with nipple rings coming down his entire body. God, community college D&D, nothing is better than that.
Yeah,
Nothing is better than community D&D in your 20s. Nothing is better than that. I mean, gaming wise, but nerd shit. Yeah, D&D in your 20s going LARPing is some of the funnest shit I've ever done in my life. Yeah. But no, I mean, what's another thing I want to talk about? Well, who's your favorite? So, of all the Aedra, which one do you like the most? I mean, Akatosh is a straight up dragon sky daddy.
honestly, I am not a fan of Akatosh.
Really?
I
You don't
I
like all?
hate. I can tell you which one I hate.
Yeah. Shoot, Mara,
Merida.
Myrmidia, Myrmidia, Meridia. Oh yeah, I know you're what I'm talking about. Yep, that
Yep,
track.
it's
That
the
tracks.
beacon every time,
You know she's a
and it
sex.
follows you.
Yeah, you know she's a sex goddess, right?
Yeah, she doesn't even give you anything cool. Like at least Molag Bal gives you a cool friggin' mace that actually does stuff.
Yeah,
That
Meridia.
helps.
Her priestesses are literally whores. I'm not saying that to be shaming or anything. They're literally like sex worker priests. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
they're not the best.
yeah. Well, the Aedra aren't necessarily good people. That's what you gotta remember. The gods, whether they be Aedra or Daedra, they're not theistic. They're not good or evil per se.
True that.
These are beings beyond our comprehension that have existed for billions upon billions of years and create entire universes. Their sense of morality doesn't apply to us.
I mean, depends. My only
Yeah,
argument
you're.
against that is Sheogorath is we can't understand him. Nobody can. Not even Hermaeus Mora.
He's a trickster
Mister, I
deity.
want
He's like,
all the knowledge.
yeah. You like Hermaeus Mura, right? This good dude.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. He
He's not
is
even.
the Lich God,
Yeah,
basically.
he's not trying to create. You know, you visit his zone in ESO. You know that?
Yeah, I've done it.
Oh, you playing
And the
the?
best part is, he kicks you out.
Yeah, he's not even the enemy in that expansion pack. He's just like in the ESO expansion pack, the Elder Scrolls Online expansion pack is in. He actually was your ally. He wasn't against you. There's like this power play and civil war going on between the data gods. There's even a theory. People have data mined like Bethesda's like internet. I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a theory in the next ESO expansion pack or the new mainline Elder Scrolls game that it's gonna be a war of the gods. The data gods are in the middle of a civil war, and that will be the main storyline. The data are at civil war with each other, and Tamriel's being sucked into it, like a war of the gods, which I'm fucking stoked for. That sounds fucking awesome.
Sounds fun. It also sounds like it's going to be.
And once again, these are leaks, okay? Some people say it's ESO, some people say it's like Skyrim, the next other mainline game. I don't know. It sounds like a cool plot. I think it'd be a good way to end the series because I'm not waiting until I'm like 80 to see the conclusion of the Elder Scrolls saga. Just release that new Elder Scrolls game for fuck's sake. It's like the new Game of Thrones. It's like the last book of Game of Thrones. Just put it out there fucking already. Is it so hard to make it?
Considering we have an amazing version of effectively everything, um, and they made Dune in like 4 years, basically.
Yeah. Oh, have you played Outer Worlds?
Oh. Yes.
Did you like Outer Worlds?
It felt wrong.
You didn't like Outer
It felt
Worlds?
wrong. Like I was expecting something more. It was Fallout in space.
Fallout in space. You know, I can see that.
Wasn't a huge fan of it.
I mean, I like the kind of the artwork and the concept they're going for, like 1920s Victorian England in space. and you're owned by a contract. I like that concept. Let's see, what game am I playing besides ESO right now? Baldur's Gate 3 is awesome and amazing. I do like BG3. You should look up Divinity Original Sin. It's the guys who made Baldur's Gate 3 aren't. This isn't their first like major game. They made their own D&D game, like a D&D video game that wasn't completely D&D, where you just go in co-op missions and you can play like actual like virtual D&D games over like servers. One player was the DM, the other players were the players. It's a fun game to play while you're high and drunk. I'll say that much. It's really high to play while you're high and drunk. Let's see, what's another good game that's come out recently? Anything new on your radar and games that you'd recommend to people that are out there right now, aside from Dune?
Sudden. I know exactly what game I'm thinking of too. Friggin' the one where humans are basically drugs.
I think I know the way you're talking about.
Yeah, you get the talking gun that's a living creature, and
Right,
basically it's a whole. Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Not for kids. Not for kids.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's
That
a
one's
game.
fun.
There's like a survival horror game that came out like 6 years ago. It was at A3. It's a game where you have to, every time you die, you have to restart. It was based off Big Brother, and every time and like you're living in a world where people are drugged into being happy all the time because some shit happened in World War II, and some terrible shit happened where people have to like erase their memory that ever happened.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I do enjoy that. And here's the other thing I really like: the D&D events. Have you ever heard of PAX?
no.
It's the D&D version of E3. So people like Critical Role in the D&D celebrities will literally go on and play like the newest Dungeons and Dragons expansion pack and role play in it. That's just where the gaming market was less than a decade ago. Way more live, way more creative, way more outreaching. Now it's just nothing but endless DLC. Yeah, I guess I'm just saying I think gaming journalism has really taken a hit since before the pandemic.
It really has.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like once again,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Was it for the 76 dropped, Anthem dropped, a few other games dropped. All of them were broken. Like, broken.
Yeah.
76 made a bit of a comeback, but that's also because Fallout players are very dedicated.
And they improved upon it. They improved upon Fallout 76.
They did. They changed some things based off feedback, and it was nice to see that they actually do listen to the players.
Yeah. No, I mean, and Destiny 2 is also a favorite game of mine. Although there is some like Bungie's done some shady shit the last decade. Apparently, you can't play the original Destiny 2 campaign now because like 90% of the artwork in that expansion pack was stolen from an independent gaming artist. And apparently, they've stolen artwork from this person like 6 times in the last 12 years.
Huh.
Yeah, they're also making a merit. So there's a new kind of game coming out. This kind of new concept they're working on: extraction shooters. Or I like extraction shooters. I mean, I enjoyed Rainbow Six Siege. What's your take?
You know, I never really got into Rainbow Six, but I've played, well, the new one.
Right,
Architect's destruction did not.
I played Rainbow Six. I played Ghost Recon a lot.
Fortunate.
Both of the newer Ghost Recons. Breakpoint's a blast.
Yeah. I really
Anything with
enjoyed-
that big of a map that you can just roll off and not care about
Yeah.
is friggin' beautiful.
Have you played Left 4 Blood?
If the counselor
Left 4 Blood?
Yeah, it's like so it's a
Played
game.
Left 4 Dead.
It was kind of a spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead. And you played a group of it was a co-op, one of those co-op games where you fight endless hordes of like alien zombies and you just collected loot. It was kind of like Division meets like Left 4 Dead. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, another game I really enjoyed I'm enjoying playing right now, aside from ESO Roller Skate 3, is probably like Space Marine 2 for the win though, dude. You gotta play that game. You really do.
Yeah, it's on the long list of games that I need to play. It
But
is.
they're adding a horde mode to it at the end of the month, which I will be streaming. Thousands of enemies versus 12 Space Marines.
That sounds like an unfair fight.
you have my word.
Thousands of enemies.
Counselor is in Leowin or the surrounding countryside.
You
The Ivory
fucking
Brigade
Viking.
will find them. You there?
You people.
You know exactly why I say that, though, with the Space Marines.
Yeah, are you a Space Wolf guy? I can see you being a Space Wolf, Space Marine, if you're familiar with that chapter.
I've heard of them. I'm not super familiar.
So they're like the companions of Warhammer. Okay, I'll put it that way. They have a fetish for wolves.
They sound cool,
They have a fetish for
but we
wolves.
both know I'm a builder at heart.
has need of you.
Oh, so you're a fucking Rogel Dorn guy?
We both know I'm a builder at heart. I love my fortresses.
You know what's funny about Rogel Dorn? His entire gimmick is he's autistic as fuck. And he builds the infrastructure. Yeah. He builds the infrastructure of a galactic empire. I can see you doing that. There's even like this fucking YouTube video where the Warhammer 40k characters are playing D&D, and Rogel Dorn is made DM for like 5 minutes. You arrive in the town of Town, overlooked by the castle of Castle. And wait 2 weeks to receive the shipment, to receive the harvest from the fields, and then begin urban renovations. Rogel, we're trying not to be bored. There's nothing more entertaining than doing infrastructure of a small city. Gaming rights removed.
Okay, that's a bit much even for me. Like, dude, friggin'.
Funny joke though, dude. It's funny as fuck.
It is funny, but God, so boring, even for me.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta.
I was just
Yeah.
doing some.
Who do you think is more edgelord though? The Chaos Gods or the Dater Gods? Who would you sell your soul to if you had to choose a Chaos God?
Good point.
What about the Chaos Gods? This is where I really will get a cultish. Warhammer 40k is kind of vaguely based off House Crowley. As in, like, the astral realm of warp. Every emotion, thought, and concept and feeling is turned into a reality in this unreality.
You know, I wonder how many people actually realize how crazy the lore is for Warhammer 40k. Or Warhammer in general.
There's a theory that it's all the multiverse and the gods are literally emotions of every universe and reality. That's a theory. Like, all the 4 main Chaos Gods appear in both Warhammer Fantasy and 40k. And there's a theory that there is no time and space. When a Chaos God is born, it has already existed since the beginning of time. Real warpy fuckery going on. What's your take?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Huh. You got me thinking.
What?
If I'm being honest, it sounds a lot like there's just a lot of friggin' wild, crazy shit going on in the background
Oh, you're not
that
wrong.
it's
Dude,
missed.
Warhammer lore is deeper than Star Wars Legends, and that's actually saying something.
Oh, Lord. Is it seriously?
Yeah, actually, it's been around roughly the
Oh,
same amount of time
I
as
was
Star Wars
sent for you.
has.
There's no duty.
And I think if you go on the wiki pages, the two Wikipedia versus Warhammer 40k wiki, I think Warhammer 40k is only behind by like 1,000 articles.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah.
And here's the thing: 40k, it's often like retconned all the time. And their
I don't
excuse for
know.
this when they're like changing lore and
Some
things
guy
are
on
being
the right
retconned
forgot.
is, oh, that's just Zeech trying to create confusion in the player base and convince people that
Is that
reality
this way?
doesn't exist. That's their humor. Zeech just erases lore and makes the universe say something differently.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you feel about that one? They use their little demon god of wizardry and sorcery to retcon things and to cause confusion.
Interesting.
Yeah. So who's your favorite 40k faction? If you don't mind me asking.
40k faction?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to go with the one that for some reason I always end up playing with, which is the Necrons.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I'm a Tyranid guy.
I can outpace Tyranids in the speed build.
Stay up here.
Yeah. And once again, dude, I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear what you want to say on that one.
That's one of those things that's I don't think people really understand. Necrons are not fast.
No, they're slow.
They're slow. They're really hard to do that. Tyranids, on the other hand, is like every 5 seconds you're making 50 troops.
Yeah, and
But the advantage of Necrons, and I think it mainly goes because I was always fighting Space Marines or Chaos Marines.
Yeah. And then then there's the nature of chaos, which is like this. Chaos is literally, it's evil to us, but in cosmic sense, it's really not evil. There's even a theory that Event Horizon is the ultimate prequel to 40k.
Oh, God.
Yeah, a lot of people actually theorize, fan theorists. The directors were huge fans of 40k. The Event Horizon is in the same universe as like Warhammer.
note. Hey, Daddy. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, my biggest issue on ESO is, dude, I'm in the Reach right now,
Daddy bunny.
and I'm surrounded by a bunch of white trash and daddy
Dad bunny.
and making jokes about
Fine.
having
Dad
gay
bunny.
orgies.
Saturday love.
Skyrim is where the degenerates and the white trash of the internet gather.
25 seconds.
It's where the white trash of the Empire gather to get drunk and talk about their favorite pornos. I shit you not. Which makes sense because you're a filthy Nord.
Yeah, and?
You're people, man. Just saying. Yeah, that works for a race of elves. And ESO.
Yes. Aren't they technically a corrupted species?
Yeah, one of their war chieftains, and once again, they're warrior people as warrior gets. One of their war chieftains got corrupted because it did something he did something unhonorable, and that cursed his entire people to become brutish and pig-like, or something like that.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah. So, in the end, who do you support? What is the funnest data request you've ever done in your time playing Elder Scrolls?
Well, if we're talking the one that I enjoyed the most,
Yeah.
it would probably be the third time that I went through the Molag Bal one.
Okay.
And I was also going through the companions at the same time, Empire Painting.
Yeah.
So, Molag Bal base, mace, capturing the souls of vampires while hunting the vampires.
Okay.
It was a little bit of a 2-in-1, and it was very, very enjoyable because they just kept attacking.
So, what do you think of the Dawn Guard DLC? I think that you probably enjoyed a lot.
It was alright. It was alright.
Have you played the DLC where you go to the dragon tombs or whatever, and you take on a dragon priest?
Yes.
How'd you feel about that one? Let me see here.
Honestly, I didn't particularly like that one.
Yeah.
I kept getting sidetracked, though.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna say this is gonna be my personal opinion. I think Skyrim is a great game. I think it was amazing. I just wish we could have gone. Here's the thing: they created mods for that game. Like Skyrim mods are fucking badass, dude. I fucking love them. Like, what's your first Skyrim mod?
Oh, so there's a bunch of mods that I do like, but having the actual option, right? You know, because you're playing Skyrim and you're supposed to have choices to do things, right?
Yeah, RPG logic.
Unless, of course, you're trying to actually genuinely go against the Imperium.
Okay.
Or Empire.
Yeah.
Brain's still on Warhammer, apparently, but yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a mod where you can kill the Emperor instead of having to agree to him, and then Stormcloaks win.
Yeah, my favorite DLC, they made a mod where they make the Second Great War happen, and you're like there's like siege, like the Alt Minion and the Empire, the Nords are at war with each other, and you can like lay siege to cities, you can attack other cities, and you can join the Alt Minion, or you can defend Skyrim with like the quote unquote good guys. Great War expansion pack mod. It was really good actually. It got really political, really good voice acting too. Yeah. So are you familiar with the lore? The Alt Minion is actually run by Dagon.
Strong should always.
Yes. I've heard that.
So the Alt Minion and ESO are actually probably the closest thing to good guys of the three factions. But that was before they got taken over by the Thalmor, and you actually deal with the Thalmor origin story, and look how they took over the Dominion in ESO. You familiar with that? Huh. Yeah, they did really good lore in that game. Here's the thing with the ESO. People play it. Functionally, it's not the best game. I will admit that. Functionally, they could do a lot better, but people play it for the story, the lore, and the roleplay. That's why people play ESO. What's your take on ESO as a game?
ESO as a game, I couldn't really get into it at the time.
Yeah.
I do understand the draw of it. Again, I just couldn't really get into it a whole lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was shitty when it first came out. Vanilla ESO sucked. Unlike Vanilla WoW. It took them like 2 years to give you player housing and create duels in the game.
Huh.
Yeah, now it's just now where they're doing a live action event, like a world event.
See, now that would have made it a whole lot more appealing back when I first played it.
Have you played WoW?
I have, although I gave it up for Dota 2 at the time.
Right. What's your take on WoW? Do you think that's still a good gaming franchise? I think they're... Like, I've never played WoW. I've read a lot of the books. I'm very familiar with the lore. But like, what's your take on a WoW as a former WoW player?
The lore is cool. The world's pretty interesting, but I gotta say it. It's not exactly an entertaining game.
Yeah. I do like it for its culture, though. I do like it for the online culture it's created. Horde versus Alliance and all that crap. I can respect it for that. By the way, are you Horde or Alliance? This will be determined whether we're still friends or not.
Um, so I actually had two characters in WoW.
Yeah.
One was Horde, one was Alliance. My friends were
Okay.
playing Alliance at the time. I wasn't a super huge Alliance person.
Right. Yeah.
Mainly because the perks that I wanted for the class I wanted at the time,
Yeah.
it was you could be friggin' Horde, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I'm all about min-maxing my stats in games like WoW. So especially when you have somebody who's max level, your uncle's max level, and has been playing since at least. I don't know if he still is anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He's one of the most dedicated WoW players in the world.
Do you know that Fricky, you can make a fortune off of EVE Online?
Yes, I do actually.
I got into EVE, but I really wish I had. That's like my biggest regret as a gamer is never getting into EVE.
Here's the thing with EVE. If you aren't super dedicated to it, it's not going to be the one for you.
Right. I mean, I like that there's entire wars between players. That's pretty cool.
Well, there's that, and it takes a lot of time to actually do stuff in EVE.
Yeah.
Like I had, my captain, for instance.
Yeah.
I did the EVE Premium for 6 months, and I was just getting to the level after that with regular play, where you could get shit. Mind you, I was hyper focused on getting that because why wouldn't you?
Right.
With that being said, the missile cruiser was the most effective.
Right.
Because EVE has an issue where, yes, you can get big ships and they're cool and you can do cool stuff. Once the big ship. Until you realize the big ship can't actually target any of the little ones.
Yeah. I'm not a Trekkie, but the more I look at Star Trek Online, I'm like, okay, this looks actually like a really good game.
Played it.
Is it bad or good? I'm not a huge...
Well, I kind of powered through at the time that I played it, but even now, it's still one of those. I can max it out easy.
What do you think is better, Star Wars: The Republic or Star Trek Online? SWOTR or Star Trek?
What are we talking about here? Are we talking actual playability or
playability, story, investment?
Story-wise, Star Trek does have pretty decent story, but it's one of those games you can play without paying attention.
Right. Where Star Wars: The Republic, that's literally an MMO that is made by BioWare of all companies. Yeah, I love SWOTR to this day. The sheer it's the ultimate role player MMO. I'm gonna put that out there. If you love roleplay and you want that in MMO sort of space, SWOTR all the way.
Yeah.
I've seen guilds have roleplay nights on SWOTR, and they're committed to it. There are some dedicated roleplay servers and groups on SWOTR. I need to get back into it. Honestly, I really do. And the last two things we're going to talk about before we call it a day, I really want to talk about the Daedra. So here's my. So I guess this way. Do you feel like the next Elder Scrolls game is? What do you think? What's your theories? In the next Elder Scrolls game? What are they going to bring out? What's it going to be like? You got any fan theories? Is it going to be good? Going to be bad?
Well,
What's your take?
Honestly, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be interesting. I think I want to see where they're going to take it, and I kind of want to see them take the plot armor for why Daedra haven't been able to really invade well is because of the one Daedra that is the Lord of all pestilence. So sickness and disease
Yeah, the dragon looking
is
guy?
the one that primarily keeps the other ones. Yeah, he keeps most of everybody else's. So,
Yeah. No, I think the theory that it's gonna be a War of the Gods is probably. I think that'd be awesome if that is the theory that what they're gonna do. Like a war between the Daedra, that would be pretty fucking cool. And maybe the Aedra reawakening. Like that'd be a good apocalypse story for Elder Scrolls, like a final good chapter to end on. War of the Gods. I base my D&D world lightly off the war between Daedra and Aedra in my world for Corrin, my D&D series. You can follow on my YouTube channel. I guess in last subject, do you think these are going to be good years for gaming? Do you think gaming has a good future ahead of it, or do you think all these layoffs are like something to come? With the cutting of gaming studios, like hanging off like 60% of their workers. What's your take on all this shit? And where do you see it going?
I, I think we're going to get a lot more trash games, a lot more garbage,
Right.
and fewer god tier. The god tiers that we have, people are going to stay dedicated to them because garbage. Because you know that they use AI to design games. From there, there's also some companies are starting to implement AI in game. And the thing about that is it's not just learning from one person, it's learning from everyone. And it makes it a challenge. It's to make it more of a challenge. And it's going to be annoying though, because now not only can you get stuck, where friggin' like for example, me, I got stuck on my farthest progression save and it turned me off in Halo Infinite because of one boss battle that I couldn't lead. So I lost a whole save. Like 12 hours of time in a bunch of exploration.
Right.
I think we're going to see that more as they start adding more AI into things. Quality-wise, like actual playability, I think it might improve because they can use the AI to...
Yeah. Do you think VR is going to be a huge thing going forward? Like, do you think we're going to get closer and closer to the world of SAO?
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Where's my nerve gear?
You know what's ironic?
We're in 2025.
We're 1 year after the year SAO canonically happens.
Where's my nerve gear?
You know what's ironic? You might get a kick
I
out
want
of
a full MMORPG.
They made so the people that made SAO, they made a Oculus Rift SAO game around the same time it came out in the anime, and people were saying in the chat in the Reddit, "Okay, am I gonna die if we do this?" People were saying that on Reddit and like on the internet. It was fucking hilarious.
Understandably so.
You know, I think the coolest thing I heard about like Oculus Rift, and I don't think VR is taking off the way it should. You can now design D&D games, dungeons, and make people play in your dungeons via Oculus Rift.
Huh.
That'd be cool as hell if it was more affordable.
Okay.
How do you feel about that one? That'd be awesome.
You know, I've had the chance to play around with Oculus before. I know that they're integrating a VR system with the current Xbox.
Yeah.
Just trying to do it for PC as well. You don't know. I don't know. You know that they have some VR games that I think they do like a style type thing, or it might be Gray Zone. Like a booth set up and slip shoes, and your movement is the movement in the game, and they're trying to go full dive.
That sounds awesome. Would that, would the
It looks fun.
That does sound fucking awesome. Oh god, imagine if you could play like ESO or Baldur's Gate 3 in like VR. Give me please, God.
That would be pretty
Give me please. Give me please. Oh man. Well, I think we're gonna call it for tonight. Dakota, thanks for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. I guess when it comes to gaming, there's a lot of potential in the future. We just need to get. We're going for like a time of changing media and technology, and that happens every couple decades. So, what will it look like? I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be a lot better than what we've been at for the last decade. I hope the 2010s were just like weird, awkward in between phase between two golden ages. That's my honest hope. Well, thank you for being on the show, Dakota. I really do appreciate it. Take care, folks. Stay sane, and fuck Disney.